Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. So the way our society is currently set up is you spend the first part of your life learning, the middle part working, and the very final years of your life in retirement. For example, you may spend the first 20 or even 30 years of your life learning, getting you qualified, getting you an education to actually go get a job in the real world. When you're done learning, you trade in your graduation gown and you trade it in for a traditional job where you're working probably long hours, occasionally weekends, and even holidays because, well, that's kind of the way life goes. And you repeat that process for 35 to 40 years, all the while making life a little bit messy along the way. You may get married, you may start a family, and occasionally you'll sneak in a vacation whenever that time is allotted. But you never really feel like there's enough time until finally one day you've decided that you've given enough of yourself to your boss, your coworkers, your clients, or even your patients. And that's when you decide to retire. And for the next 25 years or so, you get to live out all of your dreams, the dreams you've had for the past several decades. Maybe you travel and you get to experience other cultures. Maybe you simply spend more time with friends and family, or you decide to take classes on subjects that you're passionate about. Maybe you just decide that it's time to relax. You stop setting that clock for 5:30 a.m., you read some books, and you simply plant a garden. There's simply no wrong way to do retirement. Retirement is living out your dreams, the dreams that you've had for your entire life. New dreams or old dreams, there's no wrong way to do it. All that matters is that you're doing what you want to do with your life. But who decided that that's the best way to live life? Just because that's the way it's been done, or maybe at first glance that's the common sense way to do things, to learn, to work, and then retire, doesn't mean it's the way it has to be done. Remember, this is your life. You get to decide how you want to live it, and you get to make those choices as long as you plan accordingly. So what if instead of having one really long retirement at the end of your life, let's say instead that you took several mini retirements throughout the course of your working years? That could be a viable option as well. So instead of spending 25 years in retirement, say instead that you spend 15 to 20 years in retirement, and you took 5 to 10 of those years, which otherwise would have been retirement anyway, and spread them out throughout your working years. So maybe you took a 1 or a 2 year retirement every handful of years. So instead of working 40 years straight, say you work for 8 years, and then you take a 2 year retirement. Then you work for 7 more years. Then you take a 1 or 2 year retirement. There's no wrong way to do things. It's your life. You get to decide if this is what you want to do. Now, I know this isn't the typical way to look at work and retirement, but that's okay. It's okay to be a little different. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You don't have to go with the status quo. You can go against the grain. It's your life. You get to make your own choices. Live your life the way you want to. And yes, these mini retirements would require a lot of planning and a lot of saving. With the average American living simply paycheck to paycheck, there's no way they're going to be able to take off 365 days from work. But you're not the average American. If you're going to plan for one of these mini retirements, you have to save. And you have to save your money in a readily accessible account, aka not a retirement account. Now, we all know I love retirement accounts. They are amazing for you, but if you're planning a mini retirement, you're not going to be able to access that money without a penalty, and you don't want to pay any penalties. So if this is something you're interested in, make sure you're saving your money in a place where you can access it, because we all know life can be expensive, and the very last thing you want to do in retirement, mini or traditional, is worry about your finances. Now, I want to argue a case for these mini retirements and why they could boost your overall life happiness. Remember, I am just presenting these as an option, not saying you have to do them, but it's just one option to explore, like all my fire videos. Maybe there's different types of fire out there that work for different people. I like to present different options. Point number 1, you get to take advantage of your youth and your health. Many people have very lofty dreams for when it comes to their retirement, and chief among them, the one thing you hear a lot of people say is they want to travel. And I think travel is amazing. Getting to experience other countries, other cultures, it is such a great experience. However, putting it off for 30 years may not be the most ideal situation. And if you're constantly trying to cram all of your travels into your brief 7-day window of vacation time, well, that's inevitably going to cause a lot of stress. So I bet if you took a 365-day vacation, you could get some pretty epic travels in, and all the while reducing your stress, not thinking, Monday, I have to get back to work, all those emails, all those phone calls. You could actually enjoy your travels a little bit more. If you waited until you were 70 to travel, your health may not be on your side. Now, of course, there are 70-year-olds out there who are very vibrant and very healthy, but there are also many 70-year-olds out there who aren't in such great health. And if it is your dream to be very adventurous and live a life on the edge, well, it's going to be a lot easier to hike up a mountain or to take surfing lessons when you're 30 years old as opposed to when you're 75. Number 2 is you can boost your overall life happiness. When scientists study happiness throughout the course of people's lives, a pattern emerges, and that pattern is a U-shaped curve. Study after study, country after country, this pattern remains the same. So what exactly is this U-shaped curve? Well, it shows that you're happiest at the beginning and at the end of your life. And in the middle, well, your happiness takes a kind of dive. That's why it's often called the messy middle. There's a lot that's going on in the middle of your life. You may be graduating, getting married, starting a family, starting your ascent up that corporate ladder. You may experience layoffs and job transfers, moves across the country, or heaven forbid, some illnesses. The middle of your life is incredibly stressful for the vast majority of people. There's a lot of commitments, obligations. You often may feel like you're running on fumes with little or no time to spare. This is why the middle years of your life can be so stressful. Well, what if you were able to hit the pause button for 365 days on all of those commitments and all of those obligations, at least on the work side of things? What if you were to say, not have to work a 60-hour work week? What if you didn't have to get back to all of those phone calls, all of those emails, and take part in all of those Zoom meetings? What if instead you could simply focus on your spouse and your children? Or what if you were really selfish and you spent 365 days focusing on yourself? Well, that may allow you to return to work with a renewed vigor and a renewed enthusiasm. And finally, mini retirements help you live for the near future as opposed to the distant future. So often when we are planning for retirement, many of us are looking at time horizons that are 20, 30, or even 40 years down the road. And it can really be hard to plan anything with enthusiasm if you're looking at 40 years before you ever get to see that day. Now, what if instead you were looking at a retirement that was simply 5 years from today? I bet that's something you could get really excited about. And not to mention the fact of what your dreams are today may not be your dream 30 or 40 years from now. Your dreams are going to change throughout the course of your life. Today, it may be your ultimate dream to go live in a tiny, tiny, tiny apartment in Barcelona and stay out till 2 or 3 in the morning dancing and eating tapas. But when you're 70, maybe that's not your ultimate dream anymore. Now, if you have to wait several decades before going after your dreams, it's very likely that the dreams of your youth are going to be replaced by different dreams as you grow up. And that's okay. It's fine that we evolve and we change throughout the course of our lives, but it does mean that you're going to miss out on many of those dreams of your youth. Whereas if you were to embrace the idea of a mini retirement, you could actually enjoy some of those youthful dreams and still leave time for your more mature dreams when you did an eventual end of the life retirement as well. So you may be thinking, these mini retirements sound amazing, but there's no way my employer is going to let me do that. And to that I say, where there's a will, there's a way. First of all, if you're your own boss, you can 100% make this happen. You're the boss. You know your position will be there for you when you come back. You can take a break, experience life on your own terms, and come back to your company and run the hell out of that thing. Now, if you're an employee for someone else, if you've proved yourself to be an absolutely invaluable employee, an employee who is phenomenal at their job, your boss may very well allow you to take a year off and welcome you back with open arms because they know you do so much for their business. And what if you have the employer who absolutely just says no? They hate the idea. They say if you leave, you're not coming back here. that's okay. You can quit your job. There will be other jobs out there. As it currently stands, the average American has 12 different jobs throughout the course of their career. In fact, it's actually been shown that people who are loyal to a company suffer. They suffer in the form of receiving less pay. People who change jobs, well, they receive greater pay. So you can leave your job. You can quit. There will be other jobs out there. I promise you that. People quit their job all the time. Now you get to take your mini retirement, and then you can go back, find a new job, perhaps a better job, a job that has better workers that you're alongside, or even better pay. That's the best of both worlds. You got your vacation, and you're now getting better pay. Who could ask for a life better than that? So what are your thoughts on a mini retirement? I am actually very curious. I know it's not for everyone, but I do think it's actually a really cool concept. So let me know in the comments down below, what would you do if you had a year or two just to do whatever you wanted and you didn't have to show up and do that Monday through Friday grind? I think for me, I would probably spend a lot of time with family, and I would travel because I love traveling. And I know we're all in the time of COVID, but hopefully that does end and we can all do something without a mask involving a plane or a boat or going to other countries. I'm right there with you. I want that as well. So seriously, let me know down in the comments because I am so curious what your dreams and aspirations are. I post new videos every week. If you are new here, please subscribe. And if you got anything at all out of this video, please consider sharing with a friend and make sure you hit that like button on the way out, as it really does help the channel, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.